Having a daughter has helped me so much in choosing what I want to do and what I don't want to do. So it's like, I'll only do things now that are worth my time.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Life of Dad Show. Here in the Life of Dad Show, we talk with athletes, actors, entrepreneurs, CEOs, musicians, entertainers who've all made a name for themselves, but the one thing that is most important to them is being a dad. On this week's episode, I am talking with stand-up comedian Chris Distefano. Chris and I talked a little bit about fatherhood, stand-up comedy, and also his Comedy Central special called Chris Distefano, Size 38 Waist. Premieres on Comedy Central. You can also go to chrisdcomedy.com to find out where he's going to be performing all around the country. So let's get into it. Here's my interview with stand-up comedian Chris Distefano. Enjoy. Hey everybody, Eddy here for the Life of Dad Show and online. I'm very happy to have Chris Distefano. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me, Chris. How you doing, sir?
Good, I'm good.
Nice, man. Before we get into fatherhood, man, I gotta say congrats on your Comedy Central special, Size 38 Waist, man. Talk a little bit about what your fans can expect from this special, man.
Well, what they can expect is just jokes coming from the head of the patriarchy. No, they could just expect, it's all about my family. It's size 38 waist because I got bitch hips. I wanted to name the special Chrissy Bitch Hips. It was shot down, but size 38 waist. It's good, man. It's all about my family and like things that have actually happened to me. It's old school New York humor.
I'm a big fan of stand-up comedians. I love what you guys do. I think it's really hard, especially to perform week to week. Love like the creative process you guys bring to the table. Talk a little about yours. Like, do you sit down, do you start writing material, or like do you see something and then you start taking notes? Like, how do you usually work when you're coming up with material for your show, sir?
What I do personally is I like to write in my car while I'm driving. Sometimes I actually write, and I've gotten into a few accidents, but I usually like to turn the radio off, or sometimes I either turn the radio off, or sometimes a lot of ideas come to me if I listen. I love Whitney Houston, and there's a lot of Whitney Houston music that like I want to dance with somebody, and all that I love, or Greatest Love of All, and I'll think of jokes because I'm the kind of kid. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm the kind of kid, when you see me, you don't think I'm going to talk about what I'm going to talk about. You don't think my interests don't match my butt or my head. So listen, I'm a kind of kid. I love Whitney Houston. I'm into ghosts and spirits. My dad was in the mafia, and I'm a in-closet gay kid. So I write material based. I got a lot of things going on in my head. I mean, the truth of the matter is look, I got a kid.
I think especially with your career and like, kind of as people follow you on social media and all that stuff, especially on Twitter,
yeah.
Chris D Comedy, man. I mean, people know what they're going to get, but of course, this, you talk to colleagues obviously in the business, and especially now that everyone's got, a video camera in their hands with the, the iPhone, smartphone, whatever like that, something that you say might be taken out of context and all that stuff. Do you care? Like, is this something you like talk about with your colleagues about like people, you say something and all of a sudden it blows up the wrong way? Do you guys talk about this? Do you even care about that or no?
You know what? As a comedian, I really don't care. Plus, I have a podcast called The History Hyenas where we just go wild.
Yep.
And I don't really care. I mean, the truth is, people are going to get mad at you for everything you say or don't say. So I was born and raised in New York City around every race, religion, culture. All women. I was the only guy in my family because my dad was in jail. I was really the only guy. So, all my cousins, I have 3 female cousins. They're all firefighters. They're all jacked up girls. It's like people, I think the most outraged people are people that have really no culture themselves, grew up in their own world. Like I grew up in New York City, taste of everything.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's like, listen, if I do a joke that crosses the line, or if I do a joke that you might find sensitive, it's really on you. I don't care if you feel bad about it. It's like, listen, you're making yourself feel bad about something. I don't hate anybody. I'm not using any racial slurs. I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm doing jokes here. So it's like, It's up to you. If you want to take offense to every little thing, that's more of your problem than it is my problem. I feel like unless I committed a crime or did something really up to someone, I'm not going to apologize for anything. I don't think we live in like an apology society where it's like, listen, if you did something wrong, apologize. Don't let somebody else make you guilt you into apologizing. By the way, I want to apologize for anything I've said that may have offended anyone on this podcast.
That's awesome, man. Last question before we get to fatherhood. Obviously, you got your special going on Comedy Central. Of course, put up links where people can check it out, and it premieres on Comedy Central January 18th. Talk a little bit about, like, is there like a show, movie, or another like special you'd love to work on?
Well, the next thing I hope to do is my podcast, History Hyenas. I want to make that a TV show, and I want to get that to the next level. Sure. Right now, if you go to patreon.com/Bay Ridge Boys, you can be a part of the matriarchy, we call it, because all the hyenas that we have. That's what I really want to do. I would love to get History Hyenas on Comedy Central and get a history show where I go wild with my partner, Giannis Pappas, who's another great comedian who has a character named Maurisa that got wildly popular. And a lot of people like, oh, I love Giannis's character. Maurisa has created Giannis Pappas. So that's how I do it. And that's my partner on the podcast, the History Hyenas. And that's what I'd like to see next, is just me and my friend doing a history show on Comedy Central.
Nice, man. And now, of course, here at Life of Dad, we like to get everybody's take on fatherhood. So for you, when you found out you're going to be a dad, man, what was going through your mind?
I was like, I need to get a paternity test. Call Maury. No, I knew when I found out I was going to be a dad, to be honest, it was actually my kid's mom told me I was going to be a dad. And I loved it. I remember as soon as she told me, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. If you talk to any of my friends, I'm a kid. I grew up in Ridgewood, Queens, around a lot of plumbers and electricians. Yeah. They always knew that I loved the Latina girls. And as soon as I saw her, I was like, this is who I want to have a kid with. And honestly, everything's been fine. And I've almost had 3 heart attacks, and I gained about 60 pounds. But I love my kids.
How do you kind of balance work and family?
How do I balance work and family? Well, I got a divorce. So, no, to be honest, like now having a daughter has helped me so much in choosing what I want to do and what I don't want to do. So it's like, I'll only do things now that are worth my time. Where I used to just do anything. I would just do any gig you wanted me to do. And now I don't do that. Now I'm selective because, if it's not going to be worth it for me, for my career, it's not going to further my career financially or in any other way, then I'm like, you know what, why would I even do this? Because I want to just spend time with my kids. So now, like, for example, I had a couple of gigs on New Year's Eve, but I was like, you know what, why do I want to go into the city on New Year's Eve for really not that much money and for kind of a headache to get into Manhattan? So I just stayed home with my daughter. I just stayed home with my daughter. And we just, I put on a tuxedo and she put on a dress, and we went to Pizzeria Uno, and we had a good time, and I was happier doing that, going to the Comedy Cellar and having to listen to Sam Morrill's drunk rant about Joan Rivers.
Well done, sir. And lastly, before I hit you up with the Life of Dad Quick 5, what is like one big piece of advice you offer to new dads?
One big piece of advice I offer to new dads? One big piece of advice. I would say that the biggest advice is that, your life's going to change and things are going to feel harder, but it's all for the best. And you're going to be exhausted, but it's the most energetic, happy exhaustion you'll ever experience in your life. The best thing. My advice would be have sex outside your race and have a child with someone who's not your race, because that gives them stronger immune systems. That's just fact.
Dropping knowledge. I love it.
True, yeah.
Now we're going to finish off with the Life of Dad Quick 5. Favorite family movie you and your daughter like to watch together right now is what?
Favorite family movie me and my daughter like to watch right now is Hotel Transylvania 3.
Okay. Nice. Favorite song you guys like to sing and dance together?
Despacito.
Okay, of course, right? Describe the perfect family vacation. Where would it be?
The perfect family vacation for me and my daughter would be at Hershey Park.
Was there someone who impacted you in your stand-up career? Was there someone that you watched like, this is what I want to do for a living?
Definitely Jim Carrey in a celebrity part. I love, and Sam Kinison. I love them.
Lastly, is there a venue that you would love to perform at that you haven't done yet? It's like something on your bucket list?
I would love to perform. I love the Northeast, but I performed at a lot of venues. Oh, you know what I really, obviously Madison Square Garden, but I think that's every comedian's dream. But I would like to do by myself. I'd like to do Town Hall in New York City. I opened up for Artie Lang there once a few years ago, and it was just such an amazing thing. I'd love to headline that on my own, and of course Madison Square Garden.
Nice, man. People, make sure you check out the Comedy Central special airing January 18th. And, of course, follow him on Twitter at Chris D Comedy. And go to his website, chrisdcomedy.com. Chris, thanks so much for taking the time to chat with me, sir. Good luck with everything in the future, sir.
Thank you so much. And also on my Instagram, at History Hyenas, and the podcast, History Hyenas. Appreciate that as well.
No doubt, man. You take care.
Love you, man. Thanks.
Right, yep, bye.
Thanks so much for listening to the Life of Dad show. You know where to find us, lifeofdad.com, and on Twitter and Facebook.
Noise you couldn't quite locate or explain. Couldn't quite locate or explain.